The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Welcome to another edition of Easton 300, a monthly TV show that talks about the good things that are happening here in the town of Easton, and especially during the year 2025. That happens to be the year that the community is celebrating its 300 years, and what an anniversary it's going to be. We've already had one event.
We have.
And we had a huge crowd that attended over at Stonehill College. It was our kickoff event, 2,500 people. And that certainly indicates, Brian, how many people we're actually going to get for all the events. They'll be heavily attended. I'm Dave Clifton. I'm here with co-host Brian Hoffman. And we've been doing this show since early 2023, once a month, and we've come a long way with this celebration since we first began at our first meeting, wondering what are we going to do, how are we going to raise money, and what kind of events would the community like to have, and how can we celebrate the history of this community. And right now, we're going to introduce our guests, and we thank them so much for joining us today. They have busy schedules as leaders of our community here in the town of Easton. And I did want to say that, Brian, it all started with our guest here today when they appointed a committee of 10 people to plan and prepare for an anniversary celebration, 300 years. And I remember that started in December of 2022. The first meeting was in January of 2023. And Brian, why don't you introduce our guest?
Well, I'm pleased to. On my immediate left, on your right at home, is Dottie Fulginiti, currently the chair of the select board, and someone whom I've known for a number of years and have the greatest respect for. And next to her, my farther left, is Craig Barger, also a member of the select board and also someone I consider a friend. And the best thing I can say about both of them is that they are not only great leaders of the community, but they are great members of the community. And it is an absolute pleasure to work with a select board that is so in tune, not only with the town and its residents, but with the need and the, I think the honor to celebrate 300 years as a community and in providing the kind of support that has made these events, I think, spectacular opportunities for the community to come together. So it's a pleasure to be on the dais with both of you.
Thank you. Here we are in the year of celebrating here in 2025, and I wanted to start with the chair of the select board. How do you feel, Dottie, in terms of where we are so far? We've had one event, we got two more coming up in April, and it seems like just about every month we're going to be bringing people together, and that's our theme, bringing families and community together.
Well, like you say, back in late 2022, when this was just a twinkle in our eyes, right? We were, it was hard to envision. First of all, it felt like we had tons of time before this was going to start. And then all of a sudden, there were meetings and I, caught wind of different things going on. And then all of a sudden it was like, voila, we have all of these amazing events. And it's beyond my expectations what this committee was able to accomplish, not just with the amazing events and the community support, but also the fundraising and bringing so many people into the fold, whether it's businesses, families, all of the town departments, the schools. This is really, truly an amazing collaboration, and also the thoughtfulness that went in behind the way that you've structured things, that there would not be barriers to people to participation. So, you know, it's really very inclusive for every member of the community, whatever their age and ability. And I just congratulate you and all of the, you know, we appointed, you know, a handful-ish of people. And every time I talk to someone, they say they're on the committee. I think you've got about 50 volunteers on top of the committee. So you're definitely doing some amazing things, and I just want to thank you.
Well, we're in contact with 40 or 50
We are.
residents in the community, but there's going to be another 50 involved. It seems that each event, whether it be the parade, whether it be the flag ceremony on Flag Day, it takes lots of volunteers. And I say a lot of times to Brian that we're as good as the people we surround ourselves with. And this is a community that cares. It's a community that shares. And there's a lot of history here. And maybe you could talk a little bit about the history. You've been a resident for
For a few years.
a few years, that's for sure.
I think one of the beauties of this town, to me, is the number of people who volunteer their time for whether it's a committee or it's just the soccer league, the lacrosse league. People just care about this community, and I think that this 300th anniversary event or events really gives people the opportunity to really celebrate Easton. And to be excited about this town. And I think that being a representative from the select board on the committee, it's been interesting to me to look at all the different volunteers and all the different levels of expertise and interest that people have. And I know that your co-chair, Dale Carrister, loves the fact that there's a member of the committee that loves to make cookies, so she brings him to the meeting, and that's why he comes to the meetings, because they're great, these great cookies. But that's just, it's just part of the whole process that people are going through with this committee, and the enthusiasm that people have. When 2,500 people showed up at Stonehill, that was overwhelming, because I never expected that many people to show up. And they all enjoyed it. They all wanted to know when the next event's going to be. And I suspect that the 26th of April at Oaks Ames Hall is going to be a big event.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, Dottie mentioned something, and you struck the same chord, Craig, is that there are an awful lot of volunteers, and it hasn't been that the core committee, the 10 folks that were appointed by the select board, it hasn't been that they have to go out and capture those folks. Those folks come to it, just as you said, for several reasons. Number one, their pride in the community. Yeah. And number two, they see their neighbor, their friend, the parent of their kids' friends involved, and find out not only is this worthwhile, but we're having fun. Yeah. And it's like, put me in the game, coach. Right. And so we'll see 40 and 50 people wanting to participate in a particular event or in several events because they really feel like this is something that says a little bit about who they are and where they live. Yeah. And it's really amazing to see it take place.
And sometimes it's a little bit hard to take that first step to volunteer if that's not your thing and you haven't done it before, and you're busy and you have a family. And so taking that first step is really important, but also for the committee to embrace new members is really important. The Lions Club do amazing work that way as well. But you have to put people to work and know what their talents are and give them something to do, not just standing around. And then people feel that they are showcasing their abilities, and it is rewarding. And I think that you guys have done a great job with that. There's so many aspects of what you're doing, and you've got the right match of people that make it happen.
Yeah, and the people, God bless them, work well together. They come to it with their talents and their abilities, and it complements the rest of the folks that are there. And I said, David, it'd be great if most companies could have this kind of a culture of engagement and cooperation, because it is just phenomenal.
It's interesting, the select board gave us a charge, and we look at that sheet quite often to make sure we're doing what we should be doing. there's a lot of things that go with the celebration. It's not just raising the money and planning and preparing the events. It's buses, it's porta potties, it's all the little things on the side, getting the appropriate permits and the permissions. And it's been a challenge, but it's been exciting. And we say quite often in our meetings that it's important that we agree to disagree. And that's what makes a healthy decision.
Absolutely.
And I'm pleased with the committee that we have and how we're adding more people. And it's going to be a team effort. And I got to tell you, going around the community, even the generosity of the people who are donating, they're happy to do it. This is their town. Whether it be Stonehill College or Borderland State Park, everybody has a little piece of the pie here. And I say to both of you, as members of our select board in the town of Easton, that this is heading in the right direction. There's a lot of positivity, and things are happening, and it's going to bring the community together, and it's going to be something that's going to make people happy, something for people of all ages.
Yeah, and something for people of all interests too. It's not just, oh, here's, something cultural, and Craig, you talk about being astounded at the kickoff event at Stonehill. I was astounded at the number because, in my head I'm thinking, maybe 800, 1,000, maybe 1,200 at the outside. But the thing that was so astounding was there was something for everybody there. There was stuff for little kids, sort of bigger kids, bigger kids like us. And people we were in that little beer garden thing that Shoveltown had set up, and I'm hearing neighbors who've been closeted inside because it's been chilly and cold in the winter months, saying, "Gosh, I haven't seen you guys in 6 months." And so it was like people recongregating that hadn't seen each other for a while. And if these events give people in the town an opportunity to reconnect on that kind of a familial or fun or whatever level, we're doing good things for the community.
And it was a freezing cold day that day.
It was.
And, if the rest of your events have as much of an attention to detail as the first one, which I presume that they
Hopefully,
will,
yeah.
just having the Council on Aging buses go through the parking lot to pick people up to bring them there, that thoughtfulness, it was really great. And so, I thought I'd be tough on the way in, and it was super windy, and I'm not going to take the bus. I'll leave it for somebody who wants it. But on the way back, I said, I'm just getting on the bus because it was freezing. But it was really like those details, and that makes a big difference for accessibility. And I work with the Commission on Disabilities, and we think about that for a lot of things. But sometimes when you're in the thick of, putting events together, there's little things that escape you. And I think that you did a really great job with that.
And we thank Ken Wood, a longtime resident here in the town of Easton. He was the coordinator of the busing. And I said, a little different than being the former recreation director. Now you're in charge of buses. He said, I got a promotion. Fact is, it takes a team effort. And I know that the events that are coming up, someone said to me when I was shopping at Shaw's a couple of years ago, I said, have you heard about the Easton 300? They didn't know anything about it. Now I went to Shaw's last week, and 2 or 3 people came up and they said, we're excited about the celebration. 236 signs on the poles, and all the yard signs.
The lawn signs, and good heavens, you can't miss the billboard down at the corner of Belmont and Washington. And now that has been changed to have all of the signature events and the dates, so that, I'm not sure you can read it all as you're driving by. That probably isn't safe, but I see people pulling into the parking lot and taking their phone out so they can get a snapshot of, when the events are coming up. So
I think that the pole banners, when they started to go up, people started to not only slow down driving so they could read them, but then it became, this is really happening.
Yeah.
And pole banner after pole banner after pole banner. It was pretty impressive to drive around town and see all those up. As a matter of fact, at one point, I know that that Ken Michael was helping to coordinate all that, and I said to him, "Well, on Center Street, all of a sudden it ends, halfway up Center Street. There's no more." He said, "Don't worry about it.
They're
We
coming."
we got this.
There's
We got
70
this."
more going up.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
as we talk about that, again, Dottie mentioned this early on about, department heads, people in public safety and everybody being involved. Hats off to Dave Fields and the DPW and the work they did getting those pole banners up. And it wasn't haphazard. You look at them and they are professionally installed, they're level, they're right where they should be.
And it was cold when they were putting those up.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
Those poor guys are out there bundled up. But it's that whole sense of cooperation, sense of collaboration, which
Sense
was
of pride. Sense
Yeah,
of pride. in this
Thank
community.
you. Thank you. Absolutely right, Craig. It is. It's a sense of pride. And, Dave says this almost every time we're on the air about, hey, things are a little crazy out there, but let's be good to each other. Things are a little crazy out there, but I think this is a calming, centering influence, because no matter what else you're thinking about, it keeps reminding you this 300th celebration is really going to be and being something, and something that people probably haven't seen for a while.
I wasn't here for the 275th or the 250th, and I don't think I'll be around for the 350th. But the fact is that a lot of people worked hard. Were you here?
For the
For that?
275, I was here.
Yeah.
But it was nothing like this.
Yeah.
I mean, this has just been incredible.
Yeah.
And
I was here for both of them, and there wasn't as much. I mean, there was pride and there was celebration, but I think that this has, it's astounded. That was a good word I think somebody used a few moments ago. It's astounded me how much has happened, not because there's somebody behind being forceful, but because everybody's coming together and creating a force. And I remember David and I sitting at Panera going, how the heck are we going to raise $300,000? This is a lot of money. Where are we going to get it from?
It's really 400,000.
Well, that's what we got. But back then we were saying, we think we need at least this much. How are we going to do it? And it wasn't we are going to do it. It was the community did it. And it's, we keep coming back to that word over and over again, but community is the central force in it. It's the
magic
driving
word.
force in it. Yeah. And it's the reward in it too. Community coming out of this, I think, is a reward for everybody that's involved in it. And I'll take this time right now to tell you folks at home, if you think we're all set in terms of volunteers, no. If you want to get involved in something, raise your hand, pick up the phone, send us an email, go on to easton300.org and see if there's something you want to get involved with, because there's more room in the boat than you can imagine, and we would welcome anybody else who wants to get involved.
What about sponsorship? Are you still looking for sponsors, or are people still able to get flags, or?
We are looking for sponsorships on a
Always.
small level.
Yeah.
We got most of the events taken care of. We now have about 10 or 11 partnership events. They're not signature events. Someone the other day decided that they were going to sponsor the DJ.
Oh, great.
That's going to be at the bandstand, the review stand. We just had someone donate the food for the Lions Club barbecue. And the list goes on and on. Someone wanted to donate funds for the ice cream.
Oh, great.
And then someone else donated 1,500 flags that we're going to give out on Flag Day.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we're going to have 2 flyovers. I know some people have said to me, "You're really going to have a flyover?" No, we're going to
No,
have
we have
2
two.
flyovers. We're going to have one flying over to honor the veterans and to honor the town of Easton. And then we're going to have one fly over the parade. And the biggest thing that I'm working on right now, and I hope it can happen, I probably shouldn't mention it on TV, but
Go ahead.
I'm so excited about it. You probably heard the name Sonny Williams. just come back from space. We're hoping to have her in our parade.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine the draw that she's going to have at a parade with maybe 2 motorcycles riding beside her on each side? It's not definite, but it's in the mix, and we're hoping we can make it happen. Can you imagine, not too long ago, she was in space for almost a year. And where does she go next? The parade in Easton, Massachusetts.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm feeling a little bit emotional when you're talking because I'm hearing Lee Williams.
Yeah.
And, you know, Lee
Oh,
was
gosh.
talking about this for years and asking people to donate. And on his 80th birthday, he asked people instead of gifts to donate. And that day, you know, Lee, he was larger than life, and he always wanted to make a big entrance, whether it was, you know, being an auctioneer at the Lions Club auction.
Put
or
on that ratty
anything
black
he
cowboy
did.
hat.
Anything he did. He wanted to come to his birthday in a helicopter and get lowered down, and the only reason that didn't happen when he was 80 is because the weather that day. So when you're talking about flyovers, I'm like, Lee is cheering up in heaven down looking at this, because it is something exactly he would want to do, something very, very big and bold and exciting. So
And looking at the
he'd be
records,
happy.
he actually went to a select board meeting a number of years ago and donated $10,000
Yep.
for the 300th anniversary. You talk about vision.
The seed
Yeah.
money was planted quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an amazing guy.
And I'm sure his family will be thinking of him and remembering because they, you know, they're a very strong part of this as well.
They are.
And we met recently with Keith, and we're naming the Gaylor in memory of his dad. And of course, I think it's very appropriate. We're going to take a short break. I'm Dave Clifton here along with Brian Hoffman. We have 2 members of our select board here in the town of Easton. They helped get this whole celebration started. We're in the celebration year. Hurry back. Welcome to Service Matters, a weekly radio show that talks about the good things that are happening in local communities and beyond.
Since 1978, the Easton Food Pantry has been dedicated to providing food to our neighbors in times of need. As long as there's hungry people in our community, our doors are open, our hearts will be open to help.
We also like to talk about the good things that people do to make a difference, and in many cases, to make dreams real for folks out there in need.
Just to chat about, as you say, some of the good things in life, there's some of the good things, the great things, and the happy things.
And certainly watch us on ECAT, Easton Community Access Television.
Hi there, I'm Gail Devins, and join me as we discover all the businesses that made Easton great. This is a wonderful, wonderful place. I cannot wait. I want to do it. I want to go there. I am definitely coming back, and I know you will too, because I'm telling you something. It is absolutely amazing in here. What a wonderful way to discover Easton. It's right here in Easton. Showing at noon on Mondays, 2 p.m. on Tuesdays, and 11 a.m. on Fridays, only on ECAT.
There's a storm.
Join me, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, to explore the town of Easton and its interesting, engaging, ordinary, and extraordinary people, and meet a smorgasbord of guests, including artists, authors, musicians, business owners, community organizations, clergy, local leaders, etc., etc., etc. Community Forum at 3 p.m. on Thursdays and 1:30 p.m. on Saturdays. See you then. In 2023, Easton is a tight-knit community of 25,000 people. But with the hustle and bustle of modern life, it's easy to forget our past. A time when Easton's population was 6,000.
Everybody knew who everybody
And
everybody was.
And there was respect.
There was respect for everyone.
When kids enjoyed great freedom and independence.
Everybody was poor at today's standards, but we all were in the same boat and we enjoyed life.
So join me, Priscilla Almquist Olsen, as I explore what makes Easton so very special with some of its lifetime residents.
I think Easton has so much to offer, and if you're living in a community, you have to know it.
Watch Growing Up in Easton Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and Friday at 9 p.m. See you then.
Welcome back to Easton 300. Dave Clifton here along with Brian Hoffman. We have Dottie Fulginiti and Craig Barger joining us from the Easton Select Board. They helped get this celebration started a long time ago. Can you believe we've had almost 70 meetings since this committee met? And someone said to me, I didn't realize there was going to be 70 or 80 meetings. But the fact is, it takes all that effort in order to be on top of things and to take care of all the little things that rather than wait till the last minute. So it's kind of a team effort. It's a community effort. And I wanted to clarify something for the benefit of the folks that may be watching, that we are so ever grateful to all the generous donors here in the town of Easton for contributing towards celebrating the history here in the town of Easton. Yes, we've raised a little over $400,000, and it's all been donated. And none of these funds came from the town of Easton. They have enough to do with their own budgets, and that's understandable. And because we needed the money, we rang some doorbells. And again, we thank all of the generous donors for doing that. Anything you would like to add?
No, I just think I'd like to reiterate that people in this town are incredibly generous. We talked about the pride that they show. Well, they actually came forward with the money too, and so that all of these dollars that were raised were donated funds. No money came from the town.
Yeah.
And I think that's very significant. Speaks volumes about the.
I think you're
people in this
right.
community.
And if you want to look at a barometer of the level of involvement, it wasn't all big companies.
Yeah.
It was small businesses. It was individual families, individual people donating in memory of something or someone. And $400,000 sounds like a lot of money because it is. That's an astounding accomplishment when you think that, again, it's volunteer, it's residents, it's people who care about the community, people who've got that pride, that spirit, that I live here and, you know, darn it, it's a pretty good place to live and I'm gonna stand up for that. And, you know, whether you're a small, you know, individual business or a fairly significant corporation, putting your money where your mouth is really says something about how you care about the community. So I'm glad you brought that up.
And I'd like to acknowledge that our businesses, they are very generous, but people are always asking them for money.
Yes, they are.
And yet they still find ways to contribute. So I just want to put it out there to people in the town to recognize the sponsors. Make sure that when you go in there and you have dinner or you buy something from their store, thank them and tell them that you recognize that they were a sponsor to a really important community event, because I think that they would love that recognition and appreciation. And I hope that when people do come to these events, they will go out afterwards for whatever the venue and really shop in our stores, dine in our restaurants, and have recreation in our recreational areas.
Yep, and use the services in town, whether it's automotive services, plumbing, heating. You know, those are the folks who are buying those pole banners. Those are the folks who are putting some money in the kitty to help make sure that something is fun for everybody in town. So well said, Dottie. I think that's important for people to know.
And to think there's maybe 235 pole banners out there that contributed towards raising additional funds. I'd like to give a special thank you to the Bank of Easton, the Northeastern Savings Bank. I thank Doug King Builders, Lee Williams Family Foundation. We appreciate Alex Pyres. The Haynes Group made a healthy donation, the SCU Credit Union, and we also thank Dave Howe. And the list is long. We're going to see to it that we thank all the sponsors in our anniversary book, which will probably be the very last thing that we do as a committee after all the events take place. It's going to be a book that people are going to want to purchase so that they can read back on how this year, 2025, goes.
Yeah.
And although we didn't get funds from the town of Easton, we got a great sense of communication and cooperation. I'm talking about all the department heads, from the select board on the way down, the town administrator, the assistant town administrator, all the department heads. Everybody's been on board doing what they can to help the committee out to make this celebration take place. Now we got 2 events coming up in April.
We do. All you know, we've had a little hiatus here between January and now, and I think we're going to be putting our track shoes on and try to keep up between now and December. And the other thing, we're talking about the fact that great businesses and people in the town have contributed, but I think it's also important to underscore that all of these events, the signature events, the partnership events, and we're talking about, I think now somewhere around 15 or 16 different events that are going to happen, are free to the residents and their guests. There's no charge for these, and that's what that funding accomplished. It accomplished having, you know, plenty of activities that hit all ages and all groups, and that are open to the town residents and their guests and friends. The only one that's going to cost some money is the gala at the end, and the rest of this stuff is totally supported by, you know, public donations, corporate sponsorships, and people who are just, even some of them anonymously, David, just coming by and saying, here's some money, I don't want any credit for
That's
it.
right, that's happened.
So, you know, feel free to plan to be at those events. It's not like, gee, do I have money in my pocket for those events? They're there for our residents.
And the gala that you were talking about, Brian, is scheduled for December 27th. And the ticket price will be $100 per ticket. And it's going to be at Stonehill College. And you talk about rolling out the red carpet as you walk in the door. There'll be spotlights and flashing lights and photographs being taken. And they'll probably all end up in the anniversary book. And it's we got Father John from Stonehill College is going to do an official welcome. And we're going to hear from our chair of the select board, who's going to speak. And there's a great opportunity for us to thank lots of people. And we're excited about it. But
it's going to be a heck of a party.
That's right. And the 2 events that are coming up in April. On April 19th, we have an Easton 300 Family Fun Day taking place. That'll be at Langwater Farm. There'll be music, there'll be activities for people of all ages, lots of events for the kids. There'll be free ice cream, there'll be hay wagon rides, and there'll be lots of people in town with smiles on their faces, just like our 2 select board have right now. The fact is, it's going to be a great way to bring the community together.
It is.
There'll be some vans providing transportation. We'll take care of folks that may have a handicap. We want to make sure that this is going to be an event that's open to everybody. It may not be a signature event, but it's going to be an event that will bring people together. We call it a partnership event. We thank Langwater Farm for stepping up to do what they can to make this happen. And we also thank Vertec for being a sponsor for this event. So make sure you save that date, April 19th.
17th or 19th?
April 19th.
Is it 19th? Okay.
19th for the Family Fun Day. Then, on April 26th, we happen to have another signature event.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to take place at the Oak Ames Memorial Hall. It's going to be our art and cultural festival. This is an opportunity for all the artists to come together. Yes, I don't think we have an event without having food. The fact is, there's going to be transportation, there'll be portable toilets available, there's going to be music, and you're going to see how talented the people are in the town of Easton with all the artwork that you're seeing. We got a big cultural group in town, and it's going to be something that's going to be very special. A good thank you and a shout out to the Northeast Eastern Savings Bank for being the sponsor for this event. And then we got a little bit of time off.
We do, just a bit.
And a bunch of things are happening in May, a lot of partnership events. But we're going to celebrate on May 17th, celebrate the history of the town of Easton. We're going to go back to the Oak Ames Memorial Hall, and heading up for this project is going to be the local Lions Club. I used to say the best Lions Club in the town. It's the best Lions Club in the Commonwealth, and it could very well be the best Lions Club around the world. They have a reputation.
It was the best Lions Club
That's
in
right.
the world
Absolutely
in 2017, I think it was.
I think it was, yeah.
It is really true. One of the biggest ones and one of the biggest financial contributors back to Lions Eye Research, and a lot of their contributions go right back into the community.
Yeah, and it's a group also that partners so well with other organizations in the town to bring things together for people over and over and over again, as well as doing kind of the stuff behind the scenes that you never hear about. So the Lions are an incredible organization.
We're both Lions Club members,
Yeah,
right?
we certainly are. Yeah. We certainly are.
We'd also like to give a thank you to Joan Lundgren and Diane. They are the co-chairs, Diane Lasati, the co-chairs of this Art and Cultural Festival. And of course, it's going to take place in the Easton Shoveltown Cultural District. And of course, that's a big thing here in the town of Easton. It's known as the Shoveltown. Can you tell us something about that?
Sure. So I'm the chair of the Shoveltown Cultural District, and that's been in place for a number of years now. And the whole idea, it's an actual geographic line that goes from Oaks Ames Hall down to the Unity Church, down to the Trustees of Reservations, Langwater, NRT, back up, and all the businesses in the middle that work together to cross-promote each other's work. And when we have events, we include everybody in those. And the idea is, you know, people probably don't think of Easton as a tourist destination, but it really is. We have historic buildings. We have busloads of people. Busloads of people that come to the Historic Society. And so how do we capture that? And, you know, if somebody's coming to town, let them know what else we have. So, you know, the restaurants and businesses are all a part of that as well. And we have amazing concerts, arts, culture, poetry, authors, a lot of great things that the Cultural District promotes. And so I believe when the Cultural Arts and Culture Festival happens, I think there's something going on at the library. There's a few other things going on, and the streets will be shut down in that area as well.
Yep.
So
I think there may be something at the Children's Museum too.
yeah, there'll be a lot of events that day that piggyback off of each other.
There's going to be an open mic at the Queesit House, and of course, as you mentioned, crafting at the Ames Free Library. So it's going to be a street that's going to be blocked off, and we're expecting to get some terrific crowds coming to those events as well. And the busing is going to, for instance, the very first event, they're going to be parking over at Stonehill College. And for the cultural event, we're going to go to one of the schools, but we're going to stay away from the polls because that's voting day as well.
Right.
So we're working with the town department heads on that. And then, of course, we got Flag Day. That's going to be a big day here in the town of Easton, Massachusetts.
It's going to be something, and I think, you know, it'll bring together our 300th. It'll bring together celebration of the country, celebration of the flag and what it means to people. And I think, again, something for everybody. I mean, there's going to be lots of stuff going on.
And of course, that's on June 14th. It's going to be at the high school complex. The flag ceremony is going to take place at 4 p.m. on the Val Moscato football stadium. There's going to be a 42-piece band playing military music for all the branches as we have a flyover and salute the veterans. And we're going to give away 1,500 flags, good-sized flags that we can give. And you can wave those flags as the flyover takes place. And,
wave them all day.
It's going to be followed by a picnic at 5 p.m.
Yep.
And you can't believe all of the activity that's going to take place. Fireworks go off at 9 p.m. and there's going to be a concert from 7 to 9:15 p.m. Notice I said 9:15 because the music's going to play into the fireworks going off. So there's going to be a lot of mix and match and chiming in with different things that are happening. We're going to have police security. We thank our police chief for putting together a security plan. We thank our fire chief for coordinating the fireworks. He's also going to do the bonfire on October 11th. He's got his entire staff involved one way or another. It's a job and a half just to build a bonfire, especially a bonfire the chief has planned. The fact is it's going to be a giant celebration. And I think I might have said to the select board before that somebody did ask me what day is the celebration on. It's a year-round celebration. It's not one day.
And you know, we were talking about it too, about how much fun it is to have a fire chief who loves to set fires. He's so excited about building.
His eyes just light up
They
when
do.
he talks about
Absolutely right, Craig. He's like, this is going to be great, you know.
He is so enthusiastic about everything in the community. So is the police chief, DPW, they are the first people to raise their hand to volunteer. And I have to say, how do you like dealing with Sean, the assistant town administrator?
He's terrific.
He's
amazing.
everywhere. I think there's 3 of him.
He keeps me focused. He's into details. He's a step ahead. He's asking the right kinds of questions, and I know that, Craig, we've met with him on a number of occasions. And we also bring them up to date so the town administrators are aware of where we stand financially. And I think that's important in any celebration that is big as this.
Yeah, and you know, reflecting for a minute on the police chief, the fire chief, especially, and of course DPW too and the other department heads, but police and fire specifically, as we plan and execute these events that bring in large crowds, lots of people, I think it's important for our residents and their guests to know that public safety is still number one when we're planning these events, so that it's not an afterthought. Those folks help us drive the planning for each and every one of those events, so that residents will know this is going to be a good, safe thing to go have some fun at.
And we'll probably have the CERT team there, I would imagine. So that's the Citizens Emergency Response Team. That they're everywhere, you know, amazing resource to support.
We
our
had them
first
on the show
responders.
here.
And they signed up for 8 events, so we'll be at all the events.
And our Health and Community Service team, you know, really our planning team, like all the boards and committees somehow have a touch to this, as well as the departments.
And I think that's what makes it so great, is that these are not isolated activities. There's communication was the word that you used earlier on, Craig, but there's communication, there's coordination, and there is contribution by every one of those agencies and departments saying, hey, how about this? Hey, we can do that. And it just makes it better and better.
I'd like to thank Dave Fields, DPW director. He and his staff, I never walked into his office a couple of years ago and said, could you folks put up 235 banners? I didn't panic then. He agreed. And every time I went back, he never got startled.
Yep.
he said, yeah, we'll do that.
Can do.
That's something that needs to be done, and it's been a great sense of cooperation. And the select board did a terrific job of coming up with department heads, no doubt about it.
Well, we did a pretty darn good job coming up with the chairs of this committee,
Exactly.
too. So,
I have said that on
I
every
mean,
telecast.
I can't take full credit
We
for
could-
that, but
I take no credit for it. This is the amazing Dave Clifton, and I think we're thankful to the town of Sharon that they gave you so much tutelage early on to build the skill set you've got. But I don't think this could have happened without you.
They kicked me out of Sharon, and
Yeah.
after this is over, I'll be kicked out of Easton.
That's right. You're going to Norton next. Is that what it is?
But I wanted to talk about the parade. But before I talk about the parade, thank you, Karen and Tom, for your hard work and effort
Oh yeah.
coordinating the next event that's coming up over at Langwater. But the parade is headed up by Corey Ahonen, former veterans agent here in the town of Easton. And even he said that he's done smaller parades over the years, you know, for the veterans and so forth. But this is a biggie.
Yeah.
And right now we got about 7 or 8 floats. We got about 7 bands. We got the Shriners coming.
Wow.
And
We have
they
fire
have a whole
apparatus.
division.
Fire apparatus from how many towns?
The chief is working on about 20, 25 communities.
Antique cars.
There's going to be lots of antique cars. There's
Yep.
going to be trucks. There's going to be buses. I don't know if you saw that animal bus. I think it's in Brockton. It has dogs sitting in the window. That's going to come up the street in the parade. But we have the colors. We have the sheriff's office. We have the Army National Guard coming. We have some military units. We are counting on our select board and some state officials to join us in the parade. And it's amazing. We got the Clydesdales coming. I can't give you everything that's going on in the parade.
Wow.
We got a few surprises, and it's going to be a 2-hour parade. It's going to be a 2-mile parade. There's going to be some people that would prefer to be in a convertible than walk 2 miles. And there are some people that could walk 4 miles, and they'll be in there walking. And a lot of people will be shaking hands. And it's a chance for us to celebrate the town of Easton, celebrating 300 years of history. What a community, and what a special town it is. And yes, there are little obstacles that come up every now and then, but there are many people in this community that are proud to be residents of Easton, and we're excited about this celebration. And if you don't get an anniversary book, you got to get a cookbook, because there's great recipes in there.
There are 300 of them.
The wife and I have already tried a few of them, and I'll tell you, it's a community that cares and shares, and I said that many times, and I can tell just by going around, what can I do to help you? Even though a couple of the banks, when they see me coming by, they start to lock their doors because they have a feeling that I might be coming in to ask for something. But I can always go in the back door. The fact is that it is what it is. We got some other events coming up that are going to draw huge crowds, and I'm talking about the block party, September 6th. Dan and his wife Jamie, what a terrific job they've done. They got
Anderson,
17
yeah.
volunteers just with their event. These aren't 17 people that come to our meeting. They're 17 people that are out there that are willing to help. And there's going to be something for people of all ages. It's going to be at the Governor Ames Estate.
It is, yeah.
And they're going to be blocking off that street. There's going to be lots of food. There's going to be lots of desserts, lots of games for kids, and there's going to be games for adults as well. So make sure you save that date, September 6th. And we talked about the bonfire, and that is scheduled for October 11th. In the morning on October 11th, we have the car show at Borderland State Park. And that's going to go from 9 to 2 p.m. And they're hoping to recruit 300 vehicles. It'll be a nice thing to see. There's going to be music there. There's going to be an MC there. And it's going to be another terrific event. And we thank Borderland State Park, the Friends of, for making the parking free that day for residents who want to go to the park for this particular event. And that's to honor the town of Easton. So what have you got to say about where we are so far? You were at the first show.
We are, you know, if you look at this as like a multi-stage rocket, you know, we're not even ready for main engine separation yet. That'll probably happen in June, and then we'll keep on going. But, you know, talking about Sonny Williams, it makes you think of travel in space. But I keep coming back to the fact that when you look at the aggregate of everything that's happening over the year 2025, and I know you and I were chuckling when you did get that question about, well, what do you guys, you know, what's the event going to be for your 300th? And it's like, it's the whole year. Yeah. There's, you know, there's 9 signature events and another almost dozen partnership events. I think it's only just begun. You know, that's where we're headed. We're headed for more engagement, more fun, more great memories. Well, I think of kids who are, you know, 5, 10, 12, 16 years old going through this year with their families and the things that they'll be talking about with their own families a generation from now about, you should have been there when the town turned 300. That's what we're building. We're building a history, we're building a legacy, but we're also building, as Craig so rightly said, pride in the town, pride in who we are, where we've come from, where we still have yet to go. And yeah, there'll be wrinkles and curveballs and a few, you know, obstacles to overcome. But when you have this many people willing to jump in, David, and say, count me in, I can help, we can do this, there's pretty much nothing you can't do.
We're also going to have a merchandise table, as you can see, the sweatshirt that Brian has on. The merchandise table will be available at each of the events. And folks, it's nice to be able to have a momentum of the celebration that you'll wear for years to come. And I'm hoping that this celebration will be thought of as something that brought our community together. And I know that I'm saying to people out there, get ready to celebrate. You deserve it. You've earned it. You're part of the history of the town of Easton, Massachusetts. They get things done here, and we all can be proud. Some final comments I'd like to ask Select Board Chair to make. We've covered a lot of things, but we certainly haven't covered everything. But Brian and I and Dale, my co-chair, thank you so much for putting this committee together. You did some thought when you put this committee together, because everybody has something that they're good at, that they take care of. And we meet, and it's not a committee that's tired of meeting. We seem to enjoy having the meetings twice a month.
That might be the cookies, David.
The cookies had an awful lot to do with our co-chair, Dale. And of course, this cookie is for you, Dale. Okay. Any final comment you'd like to make?
Yeah, you know, I just think in our day-to-day life, we're busy with, you know, our families, our job, all kinds of different things. And, you know, when I walk, I live on Elm Street, and when I walk up through, you know, the downtown here, and I just look and I'm amazed every single time at, like, I can't believe I live in a place that has these gorgeous buildings and this beautiful open space. And I think that sometimes that gets lost because we take it for granted because we see it all the time and we experience it all the time. And I think that this is just such a beautiful reminder to people of the people first, the community, the spaces, all the great things we have going on here. And when you really stop and think about it, we're just so lucky to be able to be a part of it. And I really appreciate that. And I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. I do want to say I almost didn't recognize you when I came in tonight because you did not have your period costume on. So it's been a while since I've seen you in a jacket and, you know, regular people clothes. So I think that you and Dale particularly have had so much fun with that, popping up with your, you know, your period century garb on. And
Well, we have several more appointments. So
I love the enthusiasm, and it really does. It makes everybody, it builds the momentum. It makes people excited for the next event. So thank you.
And Craig, we want to thank you so much for being part of our committee, and especially when it comes to the right kinds of permits and requirements that we need. You seem to have those answers and have moved us in the right direction. Any final comments you'd like to make?
I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I volunteered to be on the committee as a representative from the select board. And I have absolutely enjoyed every minute of it. And I very much appreciate the work that you and Dale have done. And the fact that, as I said before, the beauty of Easton in part is the volunteers, all these people who come forward. I go to these meetings and there's 30 people in the meeting. I know there's 10 members of the committee, but there's another 20 people.
Yep.
Can I help? How can I help with? And the skill set, I just am very impressed with what's been going on. And I'm looking forward to all the events coming up. And I want to thank the members of this community for supporting, both financially, but also with their time and their care and their pride.
Yeah,
much appreciated. And we also wanted to thank Ed Han, who's going to be going around with his bell. He's going to be doing some tours and some lectures on the history of the town of Easton. I also thank Ken Michael, the president of the Historical Society, for his active participation. He's been involved in helping us raise funds. He's been involved in looking into the history of the town of Easton. And he seems to do things that other people can't do. He gets it done, and we appreciate it very much, Ken.
Yeah, not only does he know how to push the buttons, he knows where the buttons are sometimes when the rest of us are going, how we... And I want to reflect on something that both Dottie and Craig just said about how fortunate we are, how lucky we are to be here. I think that it is good government and great people in government that make that fortune. So it's not luck. It's people like the two of you, and those who have gone before you and those who serve with you that give that strength of guidance to this community. When we need an answer, we get it. When we are looking for cooperation and engagement, we get it. So I think we make our luck. I think we make it lucky to be here because the quality of people who help us run this town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let me finish up by thanking the Tricentennial Committee and all the volunteers who have come forward to give their time, their talent, their ideas, their resources, and in some cases even their funds to make our dream come true. And that is to, and that's the bottom line, is to have a giant celebration. We got a lot to celebrate. And so there's lots of people out there that know that we're going to thank, and we got many more shows coming. We do this on a monthly basis. That's going to wrap it up for today's show called Easton 300. We remind people that our webpage, easton300.org, I repeat that, easton300.org, is where you can find lots of information on the webpage. This telecast has been a production of our Tricentennial Committee in conjunction with ECAT, Easton Community Access Television. I'm Dave Clifton on behalf of Brian Hoffman, and our select board members that join us today say thank you. It's time for the town of Easton to celebrate. Hallelujah.
Put your party shoes on.